today? Today we are going to be looking at how we can use percentages to make comparisons a lot easier, okay? Before we start the lesson, I would like to wish Patrick from Gandhi a massive happy birthday for 2 days ago, I think. So I've been very busy, so I haven't been able to say that. So happy birthday. Hope you have the most amazing day. And if everyone can wish Patrick a happy birthday on this video, that would be absolutely amazing. I'm sure that would make his year. Right, guys, we've got no time to waste. Let's go.
Right, so what are you going to need for the lesson today? You're going to need something to write with and paper, squared paper if possible. If you only got lined paper or blank paper, that is absolutely fine. Now at this point, as I always say, if you do not have these things, please pause the video, go and get them as they are very important for today's lesson, and then press play when you're ready to continue. So, let's go. What is RLI today, I hear you say? So, RLI today is to solve problems using knowledge of fractions, decimals, and percentages. Okay, now the success criteria, remember the success criteria are the steps we need to take to achieve our objective. So these are to know how to convert between percentages and fractions. We have done that yesterday. And today is to understand why we need to convert between percentages and fractions to make amounts more comparable. So your first task, please, is to write the LI and the dates at the top of the page. So please pause the video, complete this task, and then press play when you are ready to continue. Excellent. So we're going to do our recap now. Remember, recapping is very important, okay, because if we're just taught something once, it is unlikely that we are going to remember it. So we need to keep recapping on the knowledge so that it becomes very strong in our minds. So I've got 3 questions for you. The first one is, what does a percentage tell us? The second one is, what is bigger, 0.03 or 3%? And the third one is, what is 300 over 600 as a percentage? So under the LI and date, please complete this. So please pause the video, complete the task, and then press play when you are ready to move on. So what does the percentage tell us? Percentage tells us how many parts we will have for every 100 of something. So here we have 100, and in this case we have 60 parts covered. So this would be 60%. So the percentage just tells us how many parts we will have for every 100 of something. Number 2, what is bigger, 0.03 or 3%? Yes, they are exactly the same. 0.03 is equal to 300ths, okay? And 3% is 3 over 100, so they are exactly the same thing. And what is 300 over 600 as a percentage? That is 50%. And I'm not going to go through that specifically now because we're going to be doing that today. But if you had any problems with the first or the second one, okay, please send me an email so I can give you some support. Lovely. So we're now going to move on to our starter. Here you have a number, 5012. I would like you to write this number using words. So please pause the video, complete that task underneath the recap, and then press play when you are ready to continue. Super duper. So 5012 in words. It is like that. So the 5000 represents this, and then the 12 represents these 2 numbers. Okay, if you have any problems with that, please send me an email because it's important that you know that. Excellent. We're going to move on to today's lesson now. So converting fractions into percentages, we did this yesterday. So we have 120 over 300. Okay, now remember, when we are converting fractions to percentages, we are making the fractions out of 100. So we're turning them into 100 out of 100. Okay, so we are now going to do this. Okay, so 300 to 100. Hey, how do I do that? I need to divide by 3. If I'm going to do that to the bottom, I need to do the same to the top. So I need to do 120 divided by 3, which is 40. So it'd be 40 over 100. So if this fraction was out of 100, okay, it would be 40 over 100. 40 over 100 is equal to 40%. Okay, so 120 over 300, if it was out of 100, would be 40%. Excellent. So you ask me, I can see you all asking me at your screens. You're like, Mr. Olens, why do we need to know this? Why can't we just keep it as 120 over 300? Well, you know what? You're in luck. I'm about to tell you. So today, Mr. Olens took 4 tests. In the first test, he got 120 out of 200. In the second test, he got 6 out of 10. In the third test, he got 200 out of 400. And in the fourth test, he got 20 out of 500. So if I want to compare these, how would I do this? Okay, because it's gonna be quite difficult, because in every test I had a different number of questions, so it's quite hard to compare them and see what I did best in, what I did worst in. So what can I do? What can I do? I want you to pause the video, discuss that with somebody, I don't care who. Could be a pencil, could be a pen you discuss it with, could be a family member, could be a book, anything. Just discuss it with somebody, please, or something. So pause the video, have that discussion, and then come back when you are ready. Welcome back, everybody. I hope that was a very good discussion. I'd love to hear your ideas, so please put a comment below or send me an email. That'd be fantastic. So how on earth are we going to compare these results? Okay, look here, all the totals are completely different: 210, 400, 500. So how are we going to compare them? Okay, so the scores are currently written as fractions, which makes it hard to compare them because all the totals are different. To compare these scores more easily, we want to turn them into percentages, okay? And remember, percentages is making them out of 100. It'll be much easier to compare them when all the totals are out of 100, okay? The slide's going to let me move on. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go through all of my test scores and make them into percentages. Okay, now you're going to ask me, Miss Olens, how do we turn them into percentages? Well, you know how to turn fractions into percentages because this is what we did yesterday. Okay, so to make them into percentages, we need to make the totals out of 100. Okay, so how do we make the totals out of 100? This is what we did yesterday. How do we get from 200 to 100? We divide by 2. Whatever you do to the bottom, you've got to do to the top. So you've got to divide 120 by 2, which equals 60 over 100. Now 60 over 100 as a percentage is 60%. So 120 over 200 as a percentage out of 100, okay, is 60%. Right. The next one, I got 6 out of 10. So 6 out of 10, okay, we want to convert that into a percentage, okay? How do we convert it into a percentage? Is what we did yesterday. You need to make it out of 100, okay? At the moment, we need to make the total out of 100. At the moment, the total is only 10. So how do we get from 10 to 100? We times by 10. Whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 6 times 10 is 60. Okay, so it would be 60 over 100. What is 60 over 100 as a percentage? That is what you are going to do now. Have fun, ladies and gentlemen. So you want to pause the video and find out what that percentage is and then press play when you're ready to proceed. So 60 over 100 as a percentage is 60%. Okay, so 6 over 10 as a percentage out of 100, okay, is 60%. And let's now go on to our next test score. So my next test score was 200 out of 400. So 200 over 400. Okay. Now, what I need to do is I need to convert this fraction into a percentage. Okay. How do I convert this fraction into a percentage? I need to make the total out of 100. Okay. So how do I make 400? How do I get 400 to 100? I divide by 4. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So what you're now going to work out, okay, is what the percentage would be. Okay, so first you need to work out what the fraction would be, then you need to work out what the percentage would be. So please pause the video, complete that task, and then press play when you're ready to continue. So whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So we have to divide 200 by 4, which is 50. 50 over 100. Okay, now 50 over 100 is 50%. So 200 out of 400 as a percentage out of 100, okay, is 50%. And then the last one, in my last test, I got 20 over 500. That is how you could write 20 over 500 as a fraction, okay? Now, how do I turn this fraction into a percentage? How do we do that, okay? The way we do that is making our total out of 100, okay? And that is what you are going to do. You're going to make the total out of 100, work out the fraction, and then work out the percentage. So please pause the video, complete that task, and then press play when you're ready to continue. So To get from 500 to 100, you need to divide by 5. So whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 over 100 as a percentage is 4%. So 20 over 500 as a percentage out of 100 is 4%. Okay. And now we have all of our percentages out of 100. Okay. So it is just very easy now to see, okay, which one I did best in, which one I did the worst in. So I did the best in these two because that's the highest number out of 100, 60. Okay, and then the lowest number out of 100 is 4. So that's the one I did worst in. Okay, so that's how we're using percentages, okay, to really help us compare numbers, amounts, okay? Right, so we're now going to move on to the superstar task. Okay, so you are going to do problem solving now. Okay, so don't worry about it. Okay, I'm here to help you. Okay, I'm not just going to let you off. I'm not just going to let you off and go. I will be here to support you. So, 3 children have each read 200 pages of their own book. Ron has read 200 out of 500 pages. Dora has read 200 out of 400 pages, and Eva has read 200 out of 600 pages. Who has read the most? Who has read the least? Now, the first thing we need to think about is that it's not going to be very easy to compare them, because if you can see here, the total amount of pages in each book is different. So Ron's total amount is 500, Dora's total amount is 400, and Eva's total amount is 600. So how are we going to compare Ron's, who has a total of 500, with Eva, who has a total of 200? Okay, it is going to be very, very difficult. Okay, so what we need to work out, okay, is how we are going to compare them, and we're going to do exactly the same as we did with the test scores. So, as I will show you here, if my page ever loads, which is seeming to not do for some reason today. No, I just want you to change page for me. Right. We currently have the number of pages read written as a fraction. Okay, so as you can see, 200 out of 500, 200 out of 400, 200 out of 600. Okay. However, each book has a different number of pages, and therefore, as what we just said, it is difficult to compare who has read more of their book. So if we turn the fraction into a percentage, okay, and we make the total out of 100, we can much more easily compare them. Okay, so if we make all the totals of these books out of 100, okay, it is going to be much easier to compare them. So how do we turn these fractions into a percentage? How do we do that? How do we make them out of 100? Okay, and that is what you are going to do as your task. Okay, so you are going to turn all these fractions into a percentage, so out of 100. Okay, and then once you do that, you'll be able to work out the answers to these two questions: who has read the most and who has read the least. I've set it all out for you, so you just need to answer it. Go back on the video if you want to have a look how to do it again, but I'm sure you will be absolutely fine. So lovely people. Pause the video, go and complete that task, superstars, and then come back for the answers. Welcome back to your answers. So Ron read 200 out of 500 pages as a percentage. So out of 100, that is 40 over 100, which is equal to 40%. Dora read 200 out of 400 pages out as a percentage out of 100. That is 50 over 100, which equals 50%. Eva read 200 out of 1,000 pages. 200 out of 1,000 as a percentage is 20 over 100, which is 20%. Okay, so if we look at these, it is now very easy to compare them. Okay, so it's very obvious that Dora read the most. Okay, and oh, poor Eva. Eva read the least. Okay, now superstars, well done. Okay, if you didn't quite get that right, do not worry, it is absolutely fine. Okay, just send me an email and I'll be more than happy to help you. Okay, now superstars, I'm going to give you an option. Okay, you can either stay for the blue zone task, which I think will be good for you, or I'm happy for you to go. If you're going to go, goodbye. But if you're going to stay, yay. Okay, goodbye superstars if you're going, and I'm now going to move on. That's the confirmation of your answers. So, blue zone, you are also going to tackle a problem-solving question. James, Jill, and Susan all took a test today. James got 12 out of 25. Jill got 35 out of 50. Susan got 93 out of 300. Who did the best in their test? Who did the worst? Okay. That is your task. You need to work out who did the best, who did the worst. The only thing I'm going to tell you is percentage. That is all I'm going to tell you. That's the only hint I'm going to give you. Okay. So please pause the video, complete that task, and then press play when you're ready for the answers. Welcome to your answers. So James got 12 out of 25, okay, which is 48%. So what I've done for all of these is I've converted them into percentages, okay, out of 100, because then when they're all out of 100, it's much easier to compare them. So 12 out of 25 as a percentage is 48%. 35 out of 50 as a percentage is 70%. That's what Jill got. And Susan got 93 out of 300, which is 31%. So who did the best? So now it's very easy to see. Jill did the best. She got 70%. Who did the worst? Susan. Susan only got 31%. Okay, so I hope you did this. You should have converted them all into percentages, so out of 100, which means that we can easily compare them. Now, superstars, I'm going to say goodbye to you. Please, and I would like you to hang on because you are going to do the challenge. The challenge. So this is your challenge. At a cinema, 4/10 of the audience are adults. The rest of the audience is made up of boys and girls. There are twice as many girls as boys. What percentage of the audience are girls? So you need to use your knowledge of fractions and percentages and conversions, and you should get this, okay? This might be challenging for a lot of you, but that's the point. It's a challenge, so don't worry. Don't stress about it. Just be determined and try and find out the answer. And that is your lot for today, people. Goodbye. Lovely to spend this time with you. Please send your work to me at the Year 5 email, which is year5@grange.harrow.sch.uk. You're probably getting bored of me saying that now. Goodbye.